Yeah, there's
Oh
always
dear.
I suppose that
Honestly, these chats we have now is like my sort of. I know, I think I'm going to make you my therapist now. It's like online daycare center.
but it's this is why we were given a mouth and a consciousness and two ears. Is that we've got to we've got to open these, listen to other people, and we've got to use this. And when all that's connected to our heart, and it's me knowing stuff is no good just keeping it in here. You know known stuff is no good if you just keep it to yourself. You've got to express it and you've got to share it with other people. I think more so nowadays with and probably to do could be anyway to do with this social thing that we have all of these apps for that. I got to the stage where I said, fuck this, I'm not signing up to another bloody app. I says, enough, I can't be checking with the Facebook and the WhatsApp and this one and that one. I I says, there's 10 minutes gone, just seeing if anyone said hello to me. I says, fuck that crack.
I
We've
keep
kind of
waiting for the moment when somebody goes, Christ, I need the toilet. It's, oh, got an app for that.
yeah. Well, it's kind of it's all about the connections and about making connections. And whatever way, I think sometimes we can get caught up in all of these. Nearly said it become to where, like when we were younger, like our invisible friend that we had, if some people had an invisible friend. It's like in many ways talking to somebody on on Zoom to somebody who's thousands of miles away, and it's only I've never met them, don't I've never physically known them. It's just a face on the computer. And like you said, there's an app for that, and you could do that with AI. And it's like a lot of people are doing that. They're losing their human connectedness through connecting with other physical human beings. And it's like I said, it's a WhatsApp. I mean, when you hear some of the things that they're doing in Japan, because they're working so long and their time is limited, that they don't have time to get out and physically meet somebody other than in work, where they have these creating these robots for various interactions. And it's like, well, I'm feeling a bit horny there and I want to have sex. And it's like, well, they have a robot for that. Where there's no physical contact with anybody. It's that's I think the start of us losing our humanity, our humanness, because we were made, designed as humans to interact with other people and to
Yeah,
share our heart
we're
with
part
other
of
people.
something bigger than just our
Yeah,
own hearts and minds. I,
yeah,
I, I find myself these days sort of, especially the last few weeks, I've found myself because I love spring.
mm,
Spring does something to me. That's the birth of everything, in nature. Is the
yeah,
buds come on the trees and the blossoms come and the flowers come up and the birds are singing. Da, da, da. Anyway, but it sets me off down a certain way of thinking and a couple of things have come to me recently. One of the things was the fact that I look at digital media, the social media, if you like, anti-social media, I call it. But on the social media, it's full of people who A assume that they know the intent of the other person saying something. You can't know their intent, but they assume they
mm,
do. So they're overlaying their own issues on somebody else. And also, it's full of people, those probably a lot of them, the same people, expressing opinions rather than information.
yeah.
No questions, just opinions. Okay, everybody wants to be noticed. This, how can I put it? As being sort of celebrity for celebrity's sake, effectively.
Yeah.
How can I put it? And I don't like that, because if somebody says to me, "Oh, you're a racist," or whatever, you can't say that. Well, you don't know what, you're not understanding what I've said. You know, you're listening to it through your own filter. You think I mean this, but you can't know what I mean unless you ask a question about it. So you say that. Why did you say it like that? That's what we got to do. Why did you say it like that? Oh, it's because of this, this, and this. Oh, you might find it's completely not racist if you said it's a racist thing. It might, but I said a while ago, I said to somebody, I said, oh, yeah, I had a great time at school and all the rest of it. And because somebody was saying, oh, back then we didn't have a lot of Afro Caribbeans and Asians uh, in the country. Well, we didn't. Okay. I said, oh, yeah, I've had a great mate at school, Terry McLeod. And Terry McLeod, uh, I used to go around to his place for dinner and all the rest of it. His mum was lovely. His dad was fantastic fun. His dad was brilliant on the guitar and a set of drums. We used to have great fun around there. We were really good mates for a good long while. And Terry McLeod, fairly Scottish name, uh, and um, and and his dad, Terry's dad, said to me one time, we've been doing this for like sort of months and months and months, knocking around together and popping around his house, and he'd pop around my house. And his dad said to me, he goes, "What do your mum and dad think about you coming to see us?" I said, "Well, they think it's great. Got a mate, and you're always really welcoming to me and lovely. And I hopefully Terry finds the same thing with my mum." He goes, "Oh, he does, he does. What do they think about you, sort of effectively fraternising with us?" Well, why you? He said, "Well, because we're like from Trinidad." I went, "Are you? Okay. I'm from Chelmsford. Uh, I still don't understand what you." And
Mm,
I was telling this person about that. I said, "Oh, you, you, you can't talk about it like that. So, some of my best friends are black. No, I just told you a story about the fact that I couldn't give a damn about a person's colour
mm,
or where they come from. If they're good people, they're good people. Finished." And and so that's it. People are always looking at you and thinking they know what you mean. So instead of asking a question to find out what you mean, they think they know better,
yeah,
and so they can put an opinion over. That's, uh, we all know the people. Okay, when you start having a conversation, you can see it in their eyes that what they're doing is they're trying to work out what you're going to say next, so you can make yourself more right than they are.
yeah.
Uh, and it's just, I find it really sort of strange. That's why I feel like a stranger in a strange land when it comes to social media. Because sometimes I'll
Mm,
put something on there. There's a Chelmsford Remembered uh, group on Facebook. And I go on there and say, "Oh, does anybody remember DJs? Oh, yeah, I used to go down to DJs in the 70s, little nightclub, backstreet nightclub." And and I said something about that, and somebody went, "Oh, you didn't go down that place. It was full of people who used to bottle everybody and get knifed all the time." I said, "Well, I never got knifed. I never did any knifing."
yeah. But I suppose that's the thing. Just scrolling through, was it YouTube's or probably a bit of everything, stuff through Facebook, and looking at some of the comments that people were making, and it's like, Jesus, where's all of this hate and negativity coming from? And then listen to somebody was saying, I had to turn off the comments because of all. Yeah, there the other day, I was on a refresher course. Trumvolo Meljevic was, he, don't know how he described him, but he came up with the flower of life. And this, I came across it 40 years ago now. And at that time, it was hard to get books on this stuff or any information. But it's something that I'll be sort of, yeah, yeah. And I've seen it in a lot of different things. And it's a bit like, what's your man's name? Uh, name escapes me at the moment. We'd like the building blocks of life, sacred geometry and all that sort of stuff. Um, the cube, Meteron cube, and the flower of life, and it's in the Kabbalah and it's in a lot of different old religions when you go down to the tree of life and da 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 da. And I was on a refresher course. I did a course with them on online there. Must have been before Christmas, I suppose. It was a 4-day course, 5-day course to get all that information just through. And a ton of information. And I found it way too much because you were in front of the computer for 5 hours every day
Oh God,
for
that
five
that
days.
that'd knock me
No,
over.
it,
That.
yeah, no, it was broken up, but still an awful lot of material. So I was on the refresher course, and which was 4 hours, which was still long enough. But it was raining outside and it was stormy, so it was okay. It didn't matter. But she was saying, she said that the person who was given the refresher course, she said she had to stop the comments. She says the amount of negativity and haters coming on. She says it was unreal, and she said she just had to. It was getting too much, so she said she had to stop it. And again, where's all of this stuff coming from? Where people, where there's people that just dump on somebody else and walk away. And it kind of reminded me a bit that not every trip, but when I was working on the ships, you're out there. When I was working on the cargo ships, you're out there for 6 months. You want peace and happiness. You want to have everything, you
Yeah,
know, nice. But sometimes there'd be some asshole who would create drama at the drop of a hat every
yeah.
time.
It's like it's almost like sort of drama for drama's sake.
Yeah, exactly. Sure, no reason. Get in there like a volcano or like a one of these whirlwinds. And the same thing again. We had this was on the cruise ships now. He was what manager that he was one of the managers anyway. And he'd come into the galley like a tornado. Like everything before he got there, everything was nice, peace and quiet, no noise, everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. He'd come in like a tornado, and he'd leave, and everybody is like, oh, well, fuck that. All of a sudden, you've got all this
Yeah,
discord,
turn it on
you
its
know?
head.
Yeah. And it's like, what the hell was that about? And it would take you, it might take you a day, it might take 2 days to rebalance, get everything back in nice again, because everybody's thinking about this fella who's just come in, turned everything all topsy-turvy, and fuck it, but he's going to come back again. And it was like, you don't need people like that in your life, that just,
No,
and
especially rarefied atmosphere of a vessel.
yeah,
Uh, it's a lot. It's like being stuck on a desert island with a person, isn't it? And you say, "Oh,
yeah,
holy crap! If I was going to get stuck on a desert island, then I wouldn't be choosing you, pal."
exactly. You want everyone to be getting on, and you want everything, to be as harmonious as possible.
Exactly. Just
Uh,
let people get on with their day.
yeah,
Do
because
what
we're
they
all in
need
the
to
same
do.
boat. Yeah, but yeah, but some people thrive on that, and on creating that discord where they walk away feeling good, and everybody else is feeling shit.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like sort of they puke up their negativity over everybody else. There's
Yeah,
glad I got rid of that. And
yeah,
everybody
yeah,
else is going,
exactly.
oh, now we're covered in negativity now. Share it round. It's all good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it. That's it.
Uh,
Well,
a sort of train of thought with that. Uh, that one of the guys I used to work with, he was like sort of a closet. We used to call him the closet psychiatrist. But he said, there are people, a lot of people in this world who create drama and difficulty because then they can be seen riding in on their great white charger to sort it out. So it's like a white, what you used to term a white knight syndrome.
yeah,
We would
yeah,
come in and go, look at all these problems I found and solved. And look at all these problems you caused, so you had something to solve
yeah.
visually.
Well, I mean, Trump, yeah, Trump is a classic case, starting
Exactly. Yeah,
this war.
he makes it up as he goes along, and he creates shit because then he can be saying, look at the shit I'm shoveling.
Yeah. And point the finger at other people. Why aren't you doing something about it?
Exactly. And then you get in the UK, you get the other end of the stick when suddenly fucking Starmer jumps up every 5 minutes going, look at me, look at me, look at me, I'm doing something as well. I'm doing something as well. Yeah, shut up, you dickhead.
Yeah. No,
But
it's
it's so strange, isn't it? It's as I've got older, I thought with it would come wisdom, but wisdom is actually quite a heavy load to have because you can see through that daily stuff, and you just think, well, why bother? Why bother?
yeah.
You're winding yourself up and the people around you. So what have you actually achieved with that? You know?
Yeah, well, like I said, it makes them feel good or gives them something, like you said, this illusion that they're coming in saving the day on the white horse or whatever, that
Yeah, and I think to a large degree it is that with a lot of people, because they then they feel in control, and also they feel seen because a lot of the lot they say empty vessel makes more noise.
yeah.
It goes back through the ages that the noisiest ones are the people that aren't being seen and need to be seen. They need to be validated by something outside themselves.
Mm.
Uh, Whereas the quiet ones typically are the ones where you just go, oh, he knows what he's up to, or she knows what
Just get
she's
on
up
with it, yeah.
to, and
Yeah.
generally good people. They don't need to be sort of visually verified. They
Mm.
don't need to be seen and lauded. They just, well, let's go and do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I notice in the character of people anyway. So you can't eradicate it, but so once again, we're going back to the digital situation and the sort of World Wide Web and all the rest of it that goes with it, then that is basically just like an amplifier to everything that's good and bad. You can
Mm.
say like, "Oh, I'm starting to GoFundMe page for this old boy, and suddenly it's got £27,000, and it's changed his life." Poor old love, he's had this happen and that happen. He's been through the mill, and now he's got this big chunk of money, and everything's changed. And so, and also in the same nanosecond, you got people sort of trolling people and causing them to sort of lose faith in life, as it were. You've got both ends of the spectrum in there. So the amplifier can be used for good or evil.
Yeah.
You've got no control over what actually flows, other than what you flow into it.
Yeah, and I suppose like with everything, it comes back to the individual and being secure enough in your own self, where it doesn't matter what somebody says. It's that you just like the deer, you just shake it off,
Yeah,
and not let it stick to you.
yeah. There was a great question somebody put up on Facebook, and I know what was behind it, or I could feel what was behind it. They said, you know, once you say to somebody who says they don't like you, excellent, thanks for letting me know. That's all.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, it doesn't matter to me whether you like me or not because I'm not out there trying to be liked. So, but excellent. Thanks for letting me know. Okay,
Mm,
because I'm spending time talking to somebody else now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, what was that one as well? That the I forget now the exact wording, but like that, if somebody says something to you and you don't take it on, well, it goes back to the person who put it out there. So they're putting their own negativity back on themselves instead of putting it onto
Oh God,
because
what?
you don't accept it. It goes back to the giver.
Oh no, so it bounces back.
Yeah, I think,
Lovely.
man, that's a good one.
I'd love to know what that phraseology is. That'd be
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, yeah. But absolutely, but it is it's profound. It's in one of those religions. It maybe where did I come across it? Might have been coming from the Muslims or the Jews or something like. If you don't accept what somebody's saying, it goes right back to the giver again. You know, it's a bit like that when you're pointing your finger at somebody else. There's three pointing back at you. Yeah, so be
Yeah.
careful where you point your finger. So it's the same thing again. Like if you're putting out shit and nobody accepts it, you're left with your own shit because it comes back to you're left with it that you haven't been able to
Yeah.
to pop it on somebody else. You know?
It ties in with so many other things as well. Like sort of, if you, where did I get lost with that? I got lost with that one. Yeah, if my old man used to tell me, and it wasn't his phraseology. He'd heard it. He'd been told it by somebody else. That is that if you're giving somebody some advice, listen to it because you're the one that needs to listen to
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And how true, and definitely, I suppose I want to say in my younger days, in my first interaction with talking to people on Zoom and Facebook stuff like that. And I'd listen to like that too. I'd listen to what I'm saying, and it's like, yeah, geez, I need to hear that. Like I need to follow
Mm.
my own advice. And like that too, we're great at giving other people advice, but very seldom do we listen to our own words, you know. And it's like when you start listening to what it is you're saying, and it's like, yeah, could be doing a bit of that yourself there, boy.
There's an age old thing that I was taught in sales as well, and it wasn't just for sales. They used it for sales training, but it's always been the case, and it's a lovely old adage, and it's ancient, and that is basically you got two ears and one mouth. Use them in the same ratio.
Yeah, yeah,
Listen twice as much
yeah.
as you speak.
And that can be a hard one for a lot of people, you know.
Mm.
And
Trump for one.
it's oh, I don't think he listens to anybody
I,
except himself. You know?
I, I don't think he even listens to himself. Because if he listened to himself, he'd be embarrassed, I think. The guy is just like sort of unfortunately, this because this is a real sort of jagged point to this in my mind anyway. That is the fact that he's a complete buffoon. He's an
Yeah,
absolute idiot, okay? And he's going around basically kicking off world wars and then telling people that he's curing or he's stopping wars. Okay, he's actually stopping more wars than is actually there are. So anyway, but the jagged side of it for me is the fact that at that moment in time they needed complete change. They needed to go completely opposite to where they were. And like right now, we in the UK need to go in completely opposite direction to where we're going now.
yeah.
But my fear is the fact that we might have a Trump moment ourselves because we've pretty much got a Trump moment with Starmer.
Mm,
But thankfully, he is not listened to in the international marketplace. Okay. Uh, but, if we get rid of him or that party, then the next party that comes in they can be just as bombastic because the problem is they need to change the the person who needs to get into power is actually got to be capable of making changes to the system because it's the
Yeah,
system. It's that rat run that they've been stuck in a hamster in a wheel. They're stuck in that. So this was
exactly.
our theory 50, 60 years ago, and we're
Yeah,
continuing it now. This is the way we've always done it. That's the way we'll continue to do it.
yeah. And that's what needs to change. I mean, it's the same with the crowd. We've had the farmers and the truck hauliers out on strike, and they've been holding up the motorways and the places where the petrol and the gasoline is coming from. So consequently, we've had petrol garages. They were into 5 days, and petrol garages all around the country have been closing because they've no fuel.
Mm.
And the farmers, and they had a valid excuse for. They were saying, look, it's no longer viable. It's costing us money to go to work, and it's costing us money to produce food. It's no longer viable. We need things to change. And the government are up there rather than engaging in dialogue with them. They're saying, oh, you're criminals and you're holding up the ransom and you're doing this and you're doing that. And it's like, fucking hell. All you got to do is talk to the people. You know,
Mm.
the government are supposed to be there for the people, not not for their own sake of
It
fun and
sounds like your
glory.
government is very much like ours, and that in as much as like prime minister's question times in ours, he's asked six questions, and all he does is he says, "Oh, that's great question coming from somebody who did this, this, and this."
Yeah,
Okay, it's like 10-year-olds in the school playground. So I
yeah,
know I'm bad, but you're worse than me.
yeah.
And then it backs backwards and forwards, and it's like it's childish blame game. They're like
Oh,
bloody
absolutely.
kids in the playground.
Yeah,
It is. It's playground politics. And then when did it all happen? When did politicians become so stupid?
yeah.
When did they
Or
dumb it
or
down?
or the worst thing again, because you're asking a question. Oh, you must. I think you're a communist, are you? Asking questions like that.
How dare you? How dare you question me?
Yeah, and it's like the arrogance of them all, thinking,
And
Jesus,
it's not even. I didn't vote last time round because I said I don't want to place a negative vote because everybody was voting the Tories out, and unfortunately, what
yeah,
we got was Labour. Well, this incarnation of Labour, uh, even the unions can't stand them now. But it's that's the thing. I don't want to make a negative vote, but any vote I make now would automatically be negative because it's against somebody rather than for somebody. Not that
yeah.
somebody's got a solution and I'm voting them in. It's somebody who hasn't got the solution that is cocking it up completely and driving us down a highway of death. Uh, I'm trying to get them out. I
And that
don't
was
think it's in the spirit of. I don't think it's in the spirit of government. To be quite honest with you.
no, but that was the thing too, though. In like the last election here, I think it was it 13, 15. It was quite a high percentage anyway of not like spoiled votes, where people saying, "I'm not voting for that asshole. I ain't voting for that asshole. I got no
Who's,
assholes left to vote for."
which is the least evil
Yeah.
way
So
to vote.
rather than yeah, so they just put X on the whole lot of them. So just spoil the vote because nobody
Oh,
got to vote.
crikey, yeah.
So it kind of what it should have done was give a message to the politicals that there's a lot of spoiled votes here. Why is that? Do you think
Are they
people?
trying to tell us something?
Yeah, and it's like no, just saying, who are these stupid people? Don't they know how to fill out the form?
Yeah, and that's the problem become because the elites believe they're elite now,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
what they don't realise is they're called the elite because they set themselves up as elite,
Yeah,
okay, and they're sort of projected as elite, not because they are elite, but they've actually they believe in their own bloody lies
Their
now.
own narrative, yeah,
They
yeah,
think we know better than you. You're just people in the street. What do you
yeah,
know about taxis? What do you know about this and that? Ah, forget it. Go. We know best because we are highly educated idiots.
yeah,
There's nothing more dangerous than a highly educated idiot, is there?
yeah. Well, I think that the world is finding that out now. It's
And it ain't,
we're
just
surrounded
here,
by them.
it's everywhere though, isn't it? It's just
Yeah,
like seems to be all over the place.
yeah,
And when did and I think once again the system, if you track it right back to the form of education now. Now I think back to my school days. I hated school anyway, but I think back to my school days, and basically it was a bunch of people who'd read the book, teaching us to read the book
yeah.
and recount it on a piece of paper at the end of the term.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
that's all.
There's no reasoning involved in it.
No,
It's just like
no,
learn this and recount it.
yeah, yeah, and that's it. And it's and once you did that, you're never going to use it anymore.
Yeah. And there's a huge gaping chasm between intelligence and intellect.
Yeah,
I once met a guy who had a PhD in chemical engineering. Okay. And he was a brilliant chemical engineer, but he used to come into the office, okay, and he would stand in front of me. I was the sales coordinator, and this guy was the technical director. Okay. And he used to come in through my office. His office was just down the road. I was out in the open office, and he had his office down over in the corner. And so he used to come in and stand in front of me and say, "Well, Ken," I go, "Right, okay, you got your jumper on inside out, and your tire's off to one side. All right, thanks." He'd go off. He'd put them. Is that right now? Yeah, that's fine. And he'd start his day. And this guy was incredible, engineer. The guy was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, but he couldn't tie his shoelaces and put his jumper on the right way round. So there's a difference between intellect and intelligence.
yeah,
And something my dad used to say, and he goes, the difference between intelligence and intellect. Now, go on, tell me, Dad. Uh, uh, is intelligence is knowing how to apply the stuff you've learned with your intellect.
yeah, yeah. Well, that was still the same thing. The same thing again was it's known that tomato is a fruit, but you don't put it into a fruit salad. Uh,
Yeah, it's right. It's just, and it's just, I just don't know when did they dumb it all down, or is it just me realizing that the stupidity of it after all this time? Maybe it was always stupid.
no, well, I suppose the one thing now, and several people have talked about. I mean, Sir Ken Robinson, he's dead now, but he was talking about this 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago. Saying that the
Yeah,
British school system is all wrong. It's not fit for purpose. It needs to change. But nobody would change, and he going on
damn, the
about
man
this,
knew
that, and
his
the other.
eggs, eh?
Yeah, yeah, very intelligent man, and but nobody would listen, or nobody would they'd listen, but they know wouldn't take action on it.
Yeah, don't
And
don't
it was
change the
the same.
system. It's what we've got, and well, that's the only
Yeah,
thing we know how to run.
yeah, it's the same. And I know over here now there was similar. There were talk about changing the system and that we have to do it this way and that way. And people were I said, no, 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 can't do that. No, no, it's always been this way. We can't change it. And it's just like, but it need. No, 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 can't.
I think maybe that's why, to some degree, that Trump has gone seriously off the rails because he started out doing all the stuff, changing the system internally, okay, and everybody had at him for it, and he found he came up against everybody. Okay,
Mm.
nobody would approve the changes or implement the changes. So that I know what alternative. My ego tells me I need to be this trouble causer and solver
Yeah.
on my white horse. So I'll go and cause it somewhere else in the world and blame somebody else. Uh, so because it started out, the ice thing, the
Oh,
borders and all the rest of it. Certain parts of that were just pure. How can I put it? Well, there were fantastic ideas. Okay, close the borders, then we can assess. Then we can assess who comes in and who got. We've got open borders at the moment. People are
mm,
coming and going. We don't know who the bloody hell they are. You know. Uh, I'm not saying they don't deserve to be here. What I'm saying is we should know who they are and what they bring to
yeah.
the table first. Don't just, oh, in you come. Oh dear, you're a rapist. I mean, oh dear. We should have known better, shouldn't we?
Mm, yeah.
But it's a difficult place to be for me at the moment because I feel at odds with it because I see through it. It's just like transparently stupid. It's just like nonsensical. It's a bit like a
Yeah.
Dr.
And
Seuss book right now.
yeah, and of course, like that too. I think your numbers are going up instead of going down as to the people that are going in. Like I
Yes,
remember
yeah,
you.
that's because it's just basically open borders. It's, right now, there are thousands of people that in the next few months, I think, will get their awards to stay indefinitely. Then they've got full access to everything.
Well,
Bearing in mind they've already had the cash, the mobile phone, the housing, and all the rest of it. They'll take up the priority list above people who live here. Uh, and so now they're all going to be like permanent stayers. So basically, they could still not work, but they've got indefinite payments. So I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but what I'm saying is that we should know who these people are and what they're bringing into the country,
yeah,
because
yeah,
we don't bring them in to say, okay, we've got loads of money, come in here and have some. What we should be saying is, what can you do for our economy? You
yeah,
know, but don't care what color you are, where you come from, and all the rest of it. But are you going to come in and be a positive part of our community?
yeah.
They should know a bit more about them before they say yes.
Absolutely, and like that too. I mean, there are a lot of them that will be able to um, be of great benefit to the
Exactly.
economy and to humanity. You know.
Because it's a lot of these places that I've been to, sort of across the Middle East and into Iran and the old Persian areas. Uh, some of those guys are so well educated, like
Mm,
multiple degrees in this, that, and the other, and they've got a lot to add to the world, a lot to add
yeah,
to the world. But also, you've got people who will do menial jobs. Fantastic. If you're a bricklayer, fantastic. Just as good. We
yeah,
need bricklayers. But at the end of the day, if you don't know, then you could be inviting in a guy who's a bricklayer and expecting him to perform like a multiple degree holder in physics or something.
yeah,
You don't know what you're doing. You say, well, okay, they're the makings of our country, but we don't know what they're actually going to be doing because we don't know what their
yeah,
skills are. We don't know who they are.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like we over here now, we've had a lot of doctors. Now it's taken a while for them to be exposed that they didn't really know what they were doing, but they were able
Oh
to hide
crap!
within the
Really?
system. Yeah, they were able to hide within the system and get away with it. Nobody could say anything because they're a certain ethnic minority, and it's like you can't say that. You can't say that about them. You're a
You
racist, you know?
can't challenge
And
them.
yeah, and so they got away. Uh, and it's only now 10 years, 15 years down the line where there's all these uh, swaths of destruction that were left behind. whether it was in mental care system or people that got operated on that didn't need to be operated on. But it's all coming out now, crazy stuff.
That's it. All it is lack of knowledge and management of the situation.
Yeah,
But let's say if a million people came in over a certain period of time and they were going to be contributing to society, and we were measuring it. That's the other thing this government don't do. If you say to them, "Oh, how many of these people have come in as asylum seekers, okay, and you don't know where they are now, you've lost track of them, or you don't know." They don't even keep the numbers.
mm,
So they're not tracking it in any way, shape, or form. They say, "Oh, but they might be this." Yeah, they might be a lot of things, but you don't know, do you?
yeah,
You never bothered to find out. There might be somebody there who's sitting there going, "Oh, I wish I could be a doctor again. I used to be top surgeon over in Libya or wherever. But I wish I could do that now." But nobody's asked. They're sitting there, they're getting the money in the door, they're getting a place to live and all the rest of it. And Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. You just wasted a huge resource and probably put their life back by about 20 years.
mm.
Enough moaning, Ken. Enough moaning. We were so positive before we started talking about sodding politics. I'll tell you what, if I can have a copy of this, but chop out the last bit.
Yeah. Well, I can send you it as is, but then you can probably be able to,
Yeah, no problem. I'll chop out the bits
if you
because
could, yeah,
I don't want it to be us talking about politics now, our personal stuff like that. But
yeah,
what I'd like is just like for us to chat, and then maybe somebody else go, "Oh yeah, that'd be good idea. That'd be nice to have a chat
yeah, yeah,
about
yeah,
that." I'd like to have a chat with these guys, sort of.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
felt
well,
like that, and I've got something to add. Obviously,
yeah,
you can have the bloody trolls everywhere you go, but a big deal.
yeah, yeah.
At least they're easy to spot, aren't they?
Yeah, well, that's
Dickheads.
it. Well, it'll come to you in two parts because I kind of I stopped the recording then, but I got myself picking my nose, so you need to cut that out.
No worries, mate. I had to run off for a bloody bunch of letters, so
Yeah,
no worries, brother.
but,
Right, well, you stay lucky,
okay.
mate. You stay lucky. You get yourself out there and about there. And
Oh yeah,
I, for one, when you do start doing something on these holy wells, I would love to know about them.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
so please, let me know when you're releasing one, and I'd love to be there to read about it, hear about it. It's just
Oh
like
yeah,
sort of
yeah, yeah,
it's hidden histories, isn't it?
yeah.
And it's what made the place it is. It's those sort of mysterious little sort of nuggets lost in history that make
That's
it
it.
make it the place it is.
Yeah, yeah. And it's I suppose the other thing I did now too during the week, I joined the men's group. There's this guy started off now he started off really to motivate himself and to motivate others in getting them up, getting them out there walking and exercising and doing stuff.
Mm,
And then he said this can go further. So he had a, a general meeting, I suppose, if is what you could call it. And I went along to that. It was good. And I said, yeah, could do with being part of a group like this.
mm,
So I got up and I spoke a little bit, about what was going on. And the next thing, the guy, he says, "Would you be interested in giving a presentation here? Talking to the lads about stuff." And I said, "Oh yeah, no problem." So I've 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 got that to look forward to, and I've also taken out the clubs, the pitch and putt clubs. So I've
oh
ordered some
yeah,
golf balls. Yeah, yeah. So I've ordered some golf balls.
good
Now
man.
that they weren't mine, they were the mother's. She used to play pitch and putt, and she'd say, "Come on, son, come on, we have a game of pitch and putt." And I'd go out with her, and it's like, yeah, yeah, enjoy it. So I have her clubs out there. So uh, it was something I says, yeah, that. it's a great way to get the exercise, get the fresh air, and to meet other people and talk. So being part of this men's club, I'll put it out there. Is anyone interested in a game of pitch and putt on such and such a day or whatever, And this week I think we've got rain most every day, but
Mm.
over the next couple of weeks, we get that started, So
It's nice. It just basically expands your days into different things, doesn't it? Which is
yeah,
lovely. You're just saying, well, uh, okay, this men's group, okay, here I am. What's happening?
yeah,
And you don't know from 1 minute to the next what might crop up. Like say, oh, come and have a chat with us. Oh, yeah, okay, that sounds good. And
yeah,
it just leads you in different ways. It's a lovely
exactly.
thing.
Because they're doing a lot of stuff at nighttime as well, and it's like at nighttime I don't go out at nighttime. I might go out for a takeaway, but that's it.
Yeah.
So they have going over here. It's this musical experience or meeting up for this or for that. There's a meetup now tomorrow night for a sauna and a dip. So they're meeting up for a sauna and going into the water. And it's like, yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Not
Yeah,
going in the
nice.
rain, mind.
The sauna will be good for your joints as well.
Yeah, yeah. So
All
I'll
right,
find
mate.
out how many's going.
Fantastic. If you can send that over, those two files over, it'd be absolutely brilliant, mate. And I
Yeah,
look forward to speaking to you next week. And you can tell me all about the
absolutely.
stuff